I'm here with Steve and Ashlyn with Sentry Security Solutions. Talk to us about what you guys do.
Yeah, so we offer a one package system to basically monitor a home, a vacant home, any property that you may have. So we bring in our own cameras, our own water and moisture sensors, as well as our own internet solution to provide basically a set of eyes on your property 24/7, even though there's no one here.
Wow, that's great peace of mind for owners. Let's walk inside and walk through the process.
Definitely, let's get started.
All right, Steve, we're here in the kitchen. Got all the equipment set up. Could you please walk us through what all this is?
Yeah, definitely. So I want to start off with the main product here. So this is the internet router that will be providing internet to all of the devices on site. This is the brains, I guess, if you will, of the operation. This will take all of the footage and all of the sensor data and upload it to the server in the cloud so that it can be monitored off-site. The next thing I want to point out is actually the base station for all of the devices. This has some advanced AI features that can detect animals, pets, people detection, and provide instantaneous updates to an off-site device. This talks to these three cameras. These two cameras are going to be wireless that will be staged at various points of the home that we deem as most important to have footage, such as the front door for someone entering the property, the garage, if someone might be trying to enter into the garage or break into the garage, we'll have footage of that. And then these three over here are going to be actually moisture and freeze sensors that will place at various parts of the home, and those will also push back through the space station, through the internet gateway, and provide real-time updates to an offsite device.
Great. Let's walk through where the important places are to install these items.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Steve, in terms of the moisture sensors, one of the most common areas we see floods are with these RO systems. So what's great, water supply, unfortunately they are a little bit prone to leaking, so this would be a key place to install a moisture sensor. Could you walk us through where you'd put the moisture sensor?
Yeah,
here?
absolutely. So we don't know the history and the service history of this unit. This thing could have been serviced last week, could have been serviced 6 years ago. So there's multiple points of failure on these systems, as they're designed very cheaply and efficiently just for people to have clean water, drinking water. So really what's nice about the sensor is it can be placed anywhere on there, and as long as there's a centimeter or two of water in that area, it will actually trigger the alarm. As you place these sensors, you start to notice other things. So when I was looking at here earlier, there was some previous water damage that was done here. Now this sensor wouldn't have caught that small amount of damage. However, have that have happened while the property was vacant, eventually this would have triggered and prevented, and sent an alarm, hopefully preventing thousands of dollars of damage. So that's where I would place it.
Yeah, drips often turn into floods, right?
Yep.
Better to catch them when they're drips.
Yep, absolutely. And this captures also, keep in mind, everything from the drains, from a leak here that may overflow and drip into the cabinet. But then also I want to point out that there's a dishwasher right here, and there's usually at least one line coming from that same valve that the sink uses to here, as well as also the drain line that could inadvertently have some leaks in it as well.
So you're catching multiple high-risk areas in one
Yes,
placement.
absolutely.
Great.
So how is this sensor powered?
Yeah, so this sensor is powered with a 2-year battery. Since all of these sensors are brand new, it's pretty much good for 2 years. I will get a low battery alarm if these start to fail out. It's just a simple little replaceable battery that comes in a weatherproof enclosure that actually seals it as well.
So we've got the router and the base station.
Yep.
Walk us through the installation process for these two items.
So the premise of this company was to have as minimal damage and as easy as possible, just for the ease of movement and all of that kind of stuff. So this router actually runs off a cellular connection, so there doesn't need to be internet on site. That comes along with this service, and then that provides internet to the base station, which provides out to the rest of the home. The beauty about having this on site is that I can eventually connect to a smart thermostat if there's one installed in the property and be able to manually control that remotely. I do want to note that the power requirement for these devices, minimal. I actually pulled the actual numbers from there, 12 watts, which is less than a common light bulb that you have in your house. So your clients will see no increase of power use.
Yeah, wow. So all you need is a power supply and then a cell phone signal, which I'm sure in the Phoenix area you can get everywhere.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be the top speed, right? Because we're not gaming here, we're not doing 4K streaming live off-site, right? So it's just enough that we can connect to the base station and have this base station talk to us.
Okay. And then all the other devices communicate with this wirelessly.
Yep.
Ingenious.
All right, Steve, so we talked about some of the primary locations to install the camera. One of them is going to be in the entry facing towards the front door as people are coming in. So kind of walk us through where you would install that.
Absolutely. So the main premise of this company is going to be damage-free installation. This does come with a mounting kit, so I can actually mount it up in the drywall, but I want to minimize damage as this might only be here for a few days to a few weeks to hopefully less than a few months. So I want to make sure that I capture someone as they enter into that front entryway, perhaps catch them unprepared, right? So they don't know that there's a security system in place at this location. So I'll catch them as they come in, plus any guests that they may be bringing at the same time. So in this situation, I can as simply just place this on the ground, have it pointing towards the front door. That's enough time that this will record that footage, upload it to the base station, and send it off-site before that customer even makes it upstairs.
Great, so flexibility. You can really install that thing wherever. It's got a mount on there. If you need to screw it into the wall, you can. You can do whatever. That's a small device. Like I don't see any cords. I don't see any batteries. How is that powered?
Yeah,
and how is it talking?
That's the beauty of this thing. So these are actually rechargeable batteries and up to 6-month battery life. So in Arizona, a little bit less outside, but this is an air-conditioned environment. I expect to get a long battery life out of this, and that's with it recording footage all the time and constantly doing its AI, motion detection, animal and human face detection.
Right, and then it's communicating wirelessly, right?
Yep,
no
wirelessly.
need for cords or anything.
No cords, no additional power, all that kind of stuff. Every single one of these cameras will be pre-charged before deployed, so that way we have ensuring the most amount of runtime, because you may have a property that has 1 visit a day, you may have one property that has 20 visits a day. It just depends on the area, what the world's going on.
Great, security and no damage to the property.
Yep, absolutely.
So what's the difference with this camera union?
Yeah, so the purpose of this camera is to be in a large open space to where I can actually have the camera either do it on itself through AI or manually through my phone be able to actually control the pan, tilt, and zoom of features of the camera. So it's nice to be able to put it in the corner, but allow the camera to kind of track anything that's going on in that specific area.
So that AI feature, if there's motion, it's going to lock on to that motion and
follow them through. And if there's more than one person, hopefully it catches that second person as well. So I got enough footage of this first person, I'm gonna find that second person and track them as well through this environment.
Great. You don't have to be awake at 2 o'clock following them.
Manually doing it. But if there is a flood in the environment, I will be able to get into all of these cameras. So for example, we place the sensor here in the hot water heater area. Say I get an alarm going off on there. I'm not gonna call you. The first thing I'm gonna do is actually log into this camera remotely and see if I see anything. If I see some water on the ground, that's an instant call to you or an email or text, whatever it may be.
Right.
So this camera you plug directly into the wall though?
Yeah.
No battery option?
No battery option on that, just because it requires a little bit more power just to do that panning, tilting, and zooming and that kind of stuff. So you'd have degraded battery performance.
Yeah, makes sense. The installation process was such a breeze for this. I'm imagining the removal process is extremely complicated, right?
Yeah, so I've actually thought about this heavily. So all I need to do to remove this from the property, just 1 and 2, pack up everything else, and I'm out of here.
Easy peasy.
Yep.
Steve, Ashlyn, thank you so much for your time today. Really innovative solution you're offering property owners. If folks want to get in touch to utilize your services, how can they contact you?
Definitely, thanks for having us. The best way will be actually visiting our website at sentrysecurity-solutions.biz. There we'll have all of our most up-to-date contact information, but the email is probably the fastest way to get hold of us, which is info@sentrysecurity-solutions.biz.
Great, thank you so much.
Awesome, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.